If a government deliberately crushing gold to protect its currency sounds a little bit tinfoil hat to you, let me show you what Britain and America actually did in the 1960s, and then after that too. But let's start with the 1960s because it's a very good story. So November 1967, Britain is broke, the pound is getting absolutely hammered, and the Bank of England burns through 200 million pounds of reserves in a single day, just holding the line. So on Saturday, the 18th, the Prime Minister, Harold Wilson, devalues the pound by 14%. He actually just devalues the pound. And the next day, he goes on television and tells the country, his exact words, "It does not mean, of course, that the pound here in Britain, in your pocket or your purse or in your bank has been devalued." I mean, he devalued it, and then he said, "Oh, it doesn't mean it's been devalued." I hate politicians so much. Anyway, I get angry every time I listen to this story because, you know, he was screwing with people's savings and the sheer audacity of governments. This is why I always say I do not support any politician. I do not like any politician. Government is the enemy of the people, in my opinion. But anyway, yeah, 1967. The smart money heard that speech and it did the obvious thing. It ran to gold, and it ran hard to gold. And that run exposed something much bigger that was going on with gold. So since 1961, 8 central banks, with America covering half of the bill, had been running an open cartel called the London Gold Pool. It had one job, not two, one job. It was to dump gold onto the London market every time the price got above $35. So the dollar always looked rock solid in comparison to gold. Official coordinated gold price suppression by central banks, right? If you say that out loud today, you get called a conspiracy theorist, but back then it was literally just policy. This is recorded history, guys. After Wilson's speech, the whole thing broke, right? America was flying gold across the Atlantic by the plane load just to keep price pinned down. So much metal moved through the Bank of England, by the way, that the floor of the weighing room, it gave out. And that's not an exaggeration, it's true. The actual floor gave out because there was so much gold being pushed through there. So by March of 1968, it was over. The London gold market had to shut its doors for 2 weeks, the cartel dissolved, and within 4 months of Wilson's little TV performance, the whole suppression machine was dead. 7 years of official price suppression on gold, and all it brought was a delay and a more violent repricing at the end of it. 3 years later, Nixon cut the dollar loose from gold entirely, and you know what gold did after that. It flew for the next decade. It was absolutely crazy. And this sort of manipulation of gold to protect the dollar, that wasn't the only time they did it. They've been doing this forever. In 1933, they banned private gold outright, then they devalued the dollar 41% the following year. In 1985, they didn't even bother hiding it. 5 finance ministers crushed the dollar on purpose from a New York hotel ballroom. It was called the Plaza Accord. Look it up, right? So the order never changes. Gold gets dealt with first, silver gets dealt with first, and then they deal with the dollar. Anyway, guys, if you found this interesting and want to hear more about it, make sure to watch the full video. It should be popping up on your screen sometime now, somewhere here maybe.